In the heart of a sprawling city filled with towering skyscrapers, luxury cars, and people constantly rushing to their next destination, there lived a man named Alex Carter. Alex was no ordinary man. He was a billionaire who had built his empire from the ground up. Known for his sharp mind, relentless ambition, and an air of confidence that bordered on arrogance, Alex seemed to have it all: wealth, power, and influence. Yet, despite his success, he often felt disconnected from the world around him. His life revolved around boardroom meetings, extravagant parties, and high-stakes deals, leaving little room for anything or anyone else. One rainy evening, as Alex drove through the dimly lit streets of downtown in his sleek sports car, disaster struck without warning. A loud clanking noise erupted from under the hood, followed by the unmistakable sputtering of the engine. Within moments, the car came to a grinding halt in the middle of an unfamiliar neighborhood. Frustrated, Alex stepped out into the pouring rain, his expensive leather shoes instantly soaked. He pulled out his phone, hoping to call for roadside assistance, but found himself in a dead zone with no signal. For someone used to having everything at his fingertips, this situation was unbearable. Alex cursed under his breath, feeling both helpless and annoyed. As the rain continued to pour down relentlessly, he scanned the area, searching for any sign of help. That's when he spotted it: a small, unassuming garage tucked away between two dilapidated buildings. Above its rusted metal door hung a faded sign that read, "Maggie's Auto Repair." It wasn't glamorous, but it was his only option. With a reluctant sigh, Alex trudged toward the garage, water dripping from his tailored suit. Pushing open the creaky door, he stepped inside, greeted by the smell of oil, grease, and worn-out machinery. The space was cluttered yet functional, with tools scattered across workbenches and a couple of cars in various states of disrepair. In the corner, a woman was bent over the engine of an old sedan, her hands moving deftly as she worked. She looked up briefly, her face lighting up with a warm smile, despite the chaos surrounding her. "Can I help you?" she asked, wiping her hands on a rag. Alex cleared his throat, trying to maintain his usual composed demeanor. "My car broke down just a few blocks away," he said, gesturing vaguely toward the street. "I need someone to fix it." The woman nodded, stepping forward to introduce herself. "I'm Maggie Thompson. Don't worry, Mr. Carter," he replied curtly, expecting some flicker of recognition or admiration at the mention of his name. But Maggie simply smiled and said, "All right, Mr. Carter, let me take a look." Without wasting another moment, Maggie grabbed her toolbox and followed Alex to where his car sat abandoned on the side of the road. Despite the rain, she got straight to work, popping the hood and examining the engine with practiced ease. Alex watched silently, slightly taken aback by her efficiency and lack of pretense. Most people he encountered fawned over him or tiptoed around his ego, but Maggie treated him like any other customer, no more, no less. After a thorough inspection, Maggie turned to him with a reassuring smile. "It's not too bad," she said. "Just a loose belt and some minor electrical issues. I can have it fixed by tomorrow morning if you're okay leaving it here overnight." Relieved but still skeptical, Alex hesitated. "Are you sure?" "This is a very expensive car," Maggie chuckled, unfazed by his tone. "Expensive or not, it's still a machine, and machines break down. It happens to everyone. Trust me, I'll take good care of it." Something about her calm confidence made Alex relent. He handed over the keys, thanked her briefly, and headed back to his hotel, vowing to return first thing in the morning. As he lay in bed later that night, staring at the ceiling, Alex couldn't shake off the image of Maggie. There was something different about her, something genuine and refreshing compared to the superficiality he usually encountered. For the first time in years, he found himself intrigued by someone outside his usual circle. Little did he know, this chance encounter would set off a chain of events that would change his life forever. The next morning, Alex returned to the garage early, eager to retrieve his car and put the incident behind him. To his surprise, Maggie had already finished the repairs. She handed him the keys with a satisfied grin. "All set," she said. "Test drive it, and let me know if anything feels off." Alex slid behind the wheel, starting the engine. It purred, to life smoothly as if nothing had gone wrong. Impressed, he stepped out and reached for his wallet to pay her. But before he could hand over the cash, something caught his eye, a glint of gold on Maggie's finger. It was a ring, intricately designed with a pattern that seemed oddly familiar. "That's quite a ring," Alex remarked casually, pointing to her hand. Maggie glanced down and smiled. "Oh, this? It's been in my family for generations. My grandmother gave it to me when I turned 18. Her words sent a jolt through Alex. The design of the ring matched one he remembered from his childhood, a family heirloom that had supposedly been lost decades ago. His mother had often spoken of it, describing its unique craftsmanship and historical significance. Could it really be the same ring? And if so, how had it ended up on Maggie's finger? Before he could ask more questions, Maggie turned away to attend to another customer. Alex stood there, frozen, his mind racing with possibilities. Who was this woman, and what secrets did she hold? Determined to find out, he decided to visit her again. Not as a client this time, but as someone seeking answers. What started as a simple car repair had unexpectedly opened the door to a mystery that would unravel long-buried truths and challenge everything Alex thought he knew about his family and himself. The next day, Alex found himself driving back to Maggie's garage, though this time his intentions were far from casual. He had spent the entire night tossing and turning, unable to shake off the image of that ring on Maggie's finger. It wasn't just its intricate design that haunted him. It was the memories it stirred. Growing up, Alex had often seen a similar ring on his late mother's hand. She would tell him stories about how it had been passed down through generations, a symbol of their family's legacy. But after her passing, the ring disappeared, leaving behind only whispers of its existence. Determined to uncover the truth, Alex arrived at the garage with a bag of coffee and pastries in hand. If he wanted answers, he knew he couldn't barge in demanding explanations. Instead, he needed to build trust. And what better way than to start with a small gesture? As he pushed open the creaky door, the familiar scent of grease and oil greeted him. Maggie was bent over an old pickup truck, her hands smeared with dirt as she tinkered with its engine. When she noticed Alex standing there, she straightened up, wiping her hands on a rag. Well, she said with a playful smile. "Twice in 2 days? You must really like my work." Alex chuckled nervously, holding up the bag. "I figured I owed you breakfast for saving me last night. Thought I'd bring something to say thanks." Maggie raised an eyebrow, amused but slightly suspicious. "You don't strike me as the type who usually does gratitude runs." "Maybe not," Alex admitted, setting the bag down on a nearby table. "But I also don't usually meet people like you." His words seemed to catch her off guard. For a moment, she studied him carefully, as if trying to decipher whether he was being sincere or simply buttering her up. Finally, she shrugged. "All right, Mr. Carter, breakfast sounds good. Just let me finish tightening this bolt." While Maggie worked, Alex took the opportunity to observe her more closely. There was an authenticity about her that stood out, a stark contrast to the polished facades he encountered in his own world. Her clothes were practical, stained with grease and oil, yet they suited her perfectly. Her laugh lines crinkled around, her eyes when she smiled, hinting at years of hard-earned joy. And then there was the ring, still gleaming on her finger, silently daring him to ask about it. When she finally joined him, they sat together in the corner of the garage, sipping coffee and sharing stories. At first, their conversation stayed light. He asked about her son, Liam, and how she ended up running the repair shop. Maggie spoke fondly of her boy, describing him as curious and clever, always eager to learn new things. "He loves helping me fix cars," she said with pride. "Says he wants to be an engineer someday." "And your husband?" Alex ventured cautiously. Maggie's expression shifted slightly, her smile softening. "We're not together anymore. He left when Liam was still a baby. Wasn't cut out for this life, I guess. But we're doing fine without him." Her honesty struck Alex. In his experience, people often hid their struggles behind masks of perfection, unwilling to show vulnerability. Yet here was Maggie, unapologetically real, speaking about her challenges with grace and strength. As they continued talking, Alex steered the conversation toward the ring. "So that ring, you said it's been in your family for generations?" Maggie glanced down at her hand, twisting the band absently. "Yeah. My grandmother gave it to me when I turned 18, said it was special, part of our history. Truthfully, I never paid much attention to the details. Just wore it because it made her happy." Alex leaned forward, his curiosity piqued. "Did she ever tell you where it came from?" Maggie hesitated, as if debating how much to share. "She mentioned something once about losing everything during the Great Depression, something about a wealthy family who fell on hard times. But honestly, I always thought it was just one of her stories. You know, the kind grandmas tell to make things sound more exciting?" Alex felt a chill run down his spine. The pieces were starting to come together, but he needed confirmation. "What else did she say about this family?" Maggie frowned, clearly struggling to recall. "Not much, really. Just that they were important, rich, powerful, that sort of thing. She said the ring was a gift, something given to her by someone she cared about deeply. But after that, she stopped talking about it altogether." Alex's mind raced. Could Maggie's grandmother be the same woman his great-grandfather had fallen in love with all those years ago? According to family lore, their romance had ended abruptly when societal pressures forced them apart. The ring, which had been gifted to her, vanished along with her, presumed lost forever. Now, decades later, it was sitting right here on Maggie's finger. Before he could press further, the sound of footsteps interrupted them. A young boy, no older than 10, peeked into the garage, his face lighting up when he saw Maggie. "Mom, I'm done with my homework," he announced proudly. Maggie laughed, waving him over. "Good job, buddy. Come meet Mr. Carter. He's the guy whose fancy car broke down yesterday." Liam approached cautiously, eyeing Alex with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. "Is this your car outside?" he asked, pointing to the sleek sports car parked near the entrance. "For now," Alex replied with a grin. "Your mom fixed it up pretty nicely." Liam's eyes widened with admiration. "Wow, Mom, you fixed that? Can I see under the hood sometime?" Maggie ruffled his hair affectionately. "Maybe later, kiddo. Right now we've got other customers waiting." As Liam scampered off to play with some tools, Alex turned back to Maggie, his thoughts swirling. He wanted to tell her everything, to explain why the ring mattered so much. But something held him back. This wasn't the time or place. Besides, he needed proof before making such a bold claim. For the rest of the afternoon, Alex lingered at the garage, helping Maggie with odd jobs and getting to know her better. Each interaction deepened his admiration for her resilience and kindness. By the time he left, he felt a strange sense of connection, one he hadn't experienced in years. As he drove away, he realized that solving the mystery of the ring wasn't just about reclaiming a family heirloom. It was about understanding the lives it had touched and the stories it carried within it. That night, Alex scoured old family records and photographs, piecing together fragments of history. What he discovered left him stunned. Decades ago, his great-grandfather had indeed fallen deeply in love with a woman outside their social circle, a scandal that forced her to leave town abruptly. The ring, which had been gifted to her, disappeared along with her. For years, the family assumed it was lost forever. Could Maggie's grandmother be the same woman? If so, what did that make Maggie? Driven by a mix of disbelief and excitement, Alex resolved to return to the garage. This time, he wouldn't hold back. He would show Maggie the evidence and confront the shocking truth head-on. But as he prepared for his next visit, one question lingered in his mind. How would Maggie react when she learned the truth about her family and theirs? The following morning, Alex woke up with a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in years. The pieces of the puzzle were slowly coming together, but the weight of what he had uncovered kept him restless. He knew that confronting Maggie wouldn't be easy. It wasn't just about presenting evidence or connecting dots, it was about unraveling decades-old secrets and potentially altering her understanding of her own identity. For someone like Maggie, who had built her life on hard work and resilience, this revelation could shake her foundation. Before heading back to the garage, Alex spent hours organizing his findings. He gathered old photographs, letters, and documents that linked his great-grandfather to Maggie's grandmother. Each item told a story, a tale of forbidden love, societal pressures, and heartbreak. In one faded photograph, Alex spotted a young woman wearing the same ring now on Maggie's finger. Her face was unmistakable, gentle yet strong, with eyes that mirrored Maggie's. This was no coincidence. The resemblance was too striking to ignore. With the evidence carefully packed into a leather folder, Alex drove back to Maggie's garage. His hands tightened on the steering wheel as he rehearsed what he would say. How do you tell someone they're connected to a family they never knew existed? Would she believe him? Or worse, would she feel betrayed by his intrusion into her personal history? When Alex arrived, the garage was bustling with activity. Maggie was elbow-deep in oil, working on a beat-up minivan, while Liam played nearby with a wrench almost as big as he was. Despite the chaos, Maggie looked up and greeted Alex with her usual warmth. Back again? She teased, though there was a hint of curiosity in her tone. What brings you here today? Alex took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. I need to talk to you about something important. Do you have a few minutes? Maggie paused, sensing the seriousness in his voice. She wiped her hands on a rag and motioned for him to follow her to a quieter corner of the garage. Once they were seated, Alex opened the folder and began laying out the documents and photographs. This might sound crazy, he started, but I think we're related. Maggie stared at him, her brow furrowing in confusion. Related? What are you talking about? Alex pointed to the photograph of the young woman. This is my great-grandfather, he said, tapping the image of the man standing beside her. And this woman, your grandmother, was the love of his life. They were forced apart because of their different backgrounds, and she disappeared shortly after. But before she left, he gave her this. He gestured toward the ring on Maggie's finger. For a moment, Maggie didn't speak. Her eyes darted between the photograph and the ring, disbelief etched across her face. You're saying this ring belonged to your family? Yes, Alex replied softly. And if what I've found is true, then you're part of my family too. Maggie let out a shaky laugh, running a hand through her hair. This has to be some kind of joke, right? A billionaire showing up at my garage claiming we're related because of a ring? It sounds like the plot of a bad movie. I wish it were a joke, Alex admitted. But everything points to it being real. Look at these letters. My great-grandfather wrote them to her. And here's a document from when they sold their estate during the Great Depression. Your grandmother's name is mentioned. Maggie picked up one of the letters, her fingers trembling slightly as she read the elegant handwriting. The words spoke of love, longing, and regret, emotions so raw they transcended time. Slowly, her skepticism began to fade, replaced by a mixture of awe and disbelief. My grandma used to tell me stories about falling in love with someone rich and powerful, she murmured. But I always thought she was exaggerating. I never imagined it was real. It was real, Alex confirmed. And it seems she kept this secret until the day she died. Maybe she wanted to protect you, to give you a fresh start without the baggage of our family's past. Maggie sat back, overwhelmed by the implications. So what does this mean? That I'm part of your family? In a way, yes, Alex replied. We share bloodlines. You're my distant cousin, though I know that doesn't make us close, overnight. But still, it changes things. For both of us. As the initial shock wore off, Maggie's expression shifted from confusion to determination. Okay, let's say I believe you. And honestly, it's hard not to with all this proof. What happens now? Do we just pretend nothing happened? Or do you expect me to drop everything and join your world? Alex shook his head quickly. No, nothing like that. I don't want to disrupt your life. Honestly, I came here because I needed answers, not to complicate yours. But knowing what I know now, I can't just walk away. You deserve to understand where you come from, even if it means facing uncomfortable truths. Maggie nodded slowly, processing his words. Fair enough. But let's get one thing straight. I'm not looking for handouts or special treatment. I built this life on my own and I'm proud of it. If anything, maybe we can help each other. You seem to value honesty and hard work, and those are qualities I respect too. Her response surprised Alex. He had expected resistance or even anger, but instead Maggie met him with calm pragmatism. It was another reminder of how different she was from anyone else he'd ever known. I agree, he said finally. Let's take this step by step. No pressure, no expectations, just a chance to learn more about each other. Over the next hour, they delved deeper into their shared history, piecing together fragments of their ancestors' lives. Maggie shared memories of her grandmother, how she had raised her after her parents passed away, instilling values of resilience and kindness. Alex listened intently, realizing how much their families had in common despite their vastly different circumstances. By the time Alex left the garage, he felt a strange mix of emotions: relief that Maggie had taken the news well, excitement about the bond they were beginning to form, and guilt over the privilege he had always taken for granted. For the first time in years, he saw his wealth and status not as entitlements but as tools to create meaningful change. Meanwhile, Maggie stood in the doorway of her garage, watching his car disappear down the street. Her mind raced with questions. What did this connection mean for her future? Could she trust Alex, or was he simply caught up in the novelty of their discovery? And most importantly, how would Liam react when she told him about their newfound heritage? Despite the uncertainty, Maggie couldn't deny the spark of hope igniting within her. This wasn't just about uncovering the past. It was about building bridges and forging relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. As she turned back to her work, a small smile played on her lips. Life had a funny way of surprising you, and sometimes the most unexpected encounters led to the greatest opportunities. Little did either of them know, their journey was only beginning. The truth about their shared history would continue to unfold, challenging them to redefine what family truly meant, and inspiring them to embrace the power of connection in ways neither could have imagined. In the days that followed their revelation, Alex found himself thinking about Maggie more than ever before. The discovery of their shared ancestry had stirred something deep within him, something he couldn't quite put into words. For so long, his life had revolved around wealth, power, and control. Yet here was Maggie, living proof that true strength came not from material possessions but from resilience, humility, and an unwavering sense of purpose. She reminded him of qualities he had long forgotten, or perhaps never truly embraced. Determined to honor their newfound connection, Alex decided to take a step beyond mere curiosity. He wanted to support Maggie in ways that aligned with her values, not his own. Money alone wasn't the answer. She had made it clear she didn't want charity or handouts. Instead, he needed to find a way to empower her, to help her achieve dreams she might have set aside while raising Liam and running the garage. One afternoon, Alex returned to the garage armed with a proposal. Maggie was busy replacing a timing belt on an old sedan, her hands moving deftly despite the grime. When she saw him walk in, she paused, wiping her brow with the back of her hand. "Back already?" she asked with a teasing smile. "You're starting to become a regular." Alex chuckled nervously, clutching the folder he'd brought with him. "I hope you don't mind. I've been doing some thinking and I wanted to run something by you." Maggie tilted her head, intrigued. "Thinking? About what?" "About how I can help," Alex replied. "Not because I feel obligated, but because I genuinely believe in what you're doing here. This garage, it's more than just a place to fix cars. It's your passion, your livelihood, and your way of providing for Liam. And if there's anything I can do to make it better, I want to try." Maggie crossed her arms, studying him carefully. "Help how? You already know I'm not interested. In charity." I know, Alex said quickly. That's why I'm suggesting a partnership. Imagine expanding this business, not just locally, but across the city, modernizing the equipment, hiring more staff, even offering training programs for kids like Liam who are interested in mechanics. Think about the impact you could have. Maggie blinked, caught off guard by the scope of his idea. A partnership? You mean you'd invest in my garage? Yes, Alex nodded. But only if you're comfortable with it. You'd still be in charge running things your way. I'd simply provide the resources and support to take it to the next level. For a moment, Maggie was silent, weighing the pros and cons. On one hand, the opportunity was tempting. Her dream had always been to grow the garage, to create a space where people could learn skills and build confidence. But on the other hand, accepting help from someone like Alex felt risky. What if he tried to change the heart of what she'd built? What if the partnership came with strings attached? Finally, she spoke. It's a big decision, Alex. Not just for me, but for Liam too. If we're going to do this, I need to know you're serious, and that you'll respect my vision. Have my word, Alex promised. This isn't about taking over or turning your garage into something it's not. It's about giving you the tools to succeed on your terms. Besides, I think the world could use more places like this. Places that value hard work and community over profit. His sincerity struck a chord with Maggie. She realized that beneath the polished exterior of the billionaire was a man trying to reconnect with humanity. A man who saw potential in her and believed in her ability to lead. After a long pause, she extended her hand. All right, Alex. Let's give it a shot. But remember, this is my garage. I call the shots. Alex shook her hand firmly, relief washing over him. Deal. Your garage, your rules. Over the following weeks, their partnership began to take shape. Alex invested in state-of-the-art diagnostic tools and updated machinery, transforming the once cluttered space into a sleek yet functional workshop. He also helped Maggie secure permits to expand the building, adding classrooms where aspiring mechanics could receive hands-on training. To Maggie's delight, Liam became one of the first students, eagerly soaking up every lesson under her watchful eye. But the changes weren't limited to the garage. As they worked together, Alex and Maggie grew closer, learning to appreciate each other's strengths and perspectives. For Maggie, Alex's involvement meant more than financial backing. It gave her the freedom to dream bigger and bolder. For Alex, working alongside Maggie offered a glimpse into a world untouched by greed or ego. He marveled at her ability to connect with people, whether it was comforting a worried customer or mentoring a shy teenager. Their bond deepened further when Maggie invited Alex to dinner at her small apartment one evening. The meal was simple, homemade spaghetti and garlic bread, but the conversation flowed effortlessly. They talked about everything, their childhoods, their struggles, and their hopes for the future. Liam chimed in occasionally, peppering Alex with questions about his luxurious lifestyle. Do you really live in a penthouse? The boy asked, wide-eyed. Alex laughed, nodding. Yes, but it's not as exciting as it sounds. Sometimes I wish I lived somewhere quieter like here. Liam frowned, clearly skeptical. Why would you want that? Penthouses are cool. They are, Alex agreed. But they can get lonely. Having people around, people who care about you, that's what makes a home special. Maggie watched the interaction with a soft smile, touched by Alex's honesty. It was moments like these that reminded her how much he had changed since they first met. Gone was the arrogant billionaire who expected the world to bend to his will. In his place stood a man humbled by life's unpredictability, eager to learn and grow. As the months passed, the garage flourished under their combined efforts. Word spread about Maggie's auto repair, drawing customers from all corners of the city. The training program became especially popular, attracting students eager to learn a trade in a supportive environment. Local newspapers even featured a story about the unlikely partnership between a single mother mechanic and a billionaire investor, hailing it as a testament to the power of collaboration. Yet amid the success, challenges arose. Some critics dismissed the project as a publicity stunt, accusing Alex of using Maggie to improve his image. Others questioned Maggie's ability to manage such rapid growth, doubting she could maintain the garage's original charm. At times, the pressure felt overwhelming, testing both their resolve and their trust in each other. Through it all, Maggie remained steadfast. "We didn't do this for them," she reminded Alex during one particularly tough week. "We did it for us. For Liam. For the kids in the program, for everyone who deserves a fair shot at success. As long as we stay true to that, nothing else matters." Her words inspired Alex to push forward, even when doubt crept in. Together they faced each obstacle head-on, leaning on their shared commitment to making a difference. Slowly but surely, they proved the skeptics wrong, proving that two vastly different worlds could indeed come together to create something extraordinary. By the end of the year, the garage had transformed into a thriving hub of innovation and community. Students graduated from the program with newfound confidence, ready to pursue careers in automotive repair. Customers praised the quality of service, often returning not just for the work, but for the warmth and camaraderie they experienced inside. And through it all, Alex and Maggie stood side by side, united by a bond stronger than blood, the bond of shared purpose. Looking back, neither could have predicted how far they'd come. What started as a chance encounter sparked by a broken-down car had blossomed into a journey of self-discovery, healing, and transformation. For Maggie, it was a reminder that no matter how tough life got, there was always room for hope and opportunity. For Alex, it was a lesson in humility and the enduring power of human connection. And as they stood together, watching the sun set over the bustling city, they knew their story was far from over. There were still challenges ahead, still dreams, waiting to be realized. But whatever came next, they would face it together, two unlikely partners bound by history, trust, and the unshakable belief that family wasn't defined by bloodlines alone. As the months rolled by, the partnership between Alex and Maggie continued to flourish, but it wasn't without its growing pains. The garage had grown into something neither of them could have imagined, a beacon of hope for aspiring mechanics, a lifeline for struggling families in need of affordable repairs, and a symbol of what two people from vastly different worlds could achieve together. Yet with success came scrutiny, and not everyone was happy about their collaboration. Local media coverage of their venture brought both praise and criticism. While many celebrated the unlikely duo as proof that unity could bridge divides, others viewed their partnership through a cynical lens. Some accused Alex of using Maggie's story to polish his public image, while others questioned whether Maggie truly had the skills to manage such a large-scale operation. These criticisms stung, especially when they reached Liam, who overheard classmates mocking his mom during school lunch one day. When Maggie found out, she was devastated, not just for herself, but for her son. She sat at the kitchen table that evening, staring blankly at an untouched cup of tea. "Maybe they're right," she muttered under her breath. "Maybe I bit off more than I can chew." Alex, who happened to be visiting, noticed her distress immediately. He pulled up a chair beside her, his voice firm yet gentle. "Don't let them get to you, Maggie. You've worked too hard to let anyone bring you down." "But what if they're right?" she countered, her frustration bubbling over. "I never asked for all this attention. All I wanted was to run my little garage and take care of Liam. Now look at us. People either think I'm riding your coattails or that you're exploiting me. Either way, we're losing." Alex leaned forward, locking eyes with her. "Here's the truth. None of those people matter. What matters is how many lives you've touched since we started this. Look at the kids in your program. They're thriving because of you. Look at your customers. They trust you because you've earned it. And look at Liam. He's proud of you no matter what anyone says." Maggie sighed, tears welling up in her eyes. "It's not just about me anymore, Alex. It's about Liam, the students, the community. If things fall apart, it's not just my failure, it's theirs too." "They won't fall apart," Alex said firmly. "Not if we keep doing what we've been doing. We didn't build this place for headlines or validation. We built it because it's needed. Remember why you started this garage in the first place? To help people. That hasn't changed." His words struck a chord with Maggie. Slowly, she nodded, determination returning to her expression. "You're right. I can't let fear stop me now. But promise me one thing. If it ever feels like I'm losing sight of why we started this, you'll tell me. Always, Alex replied, smiling softly. That's what partners do. The next day, Maggie channeled her emotions into action. She gathered the staff and students for a meeting, addressing the recent backlash head-on. Standing in front of the group, she spoke with unwavering conviction. I know some of you have heard the rumors, or maybe even seen the comments online. People will always have opinions, but here's the thing, they don't define us. What defines us is the work we do every single day, the effort, the kindness, the dedication. So let's prove them wrong, not by arguing but by being better. Let's show them exactly what this garage stands for. Her speech ignited a renewed sense of purpose among the team. Students threw themselves into their lessons with fresh enthusiasm, determined to master their craft. Staff members went above and beyond to ensure customer satisfaction, often staying late to finish jobs or offering free advice on car maintenance. Even Liam stepped up, volunteering to assist with organizing tools and keeping the workspace tidy. Together, they transformed the negativity into fuel for growth. Meanwhile, Alex faced challenges of his own. Back in his corporate world, whispers circulated about his involvement with the garage. Some board members questioned whether he was neglecting his responsibilities to focus on a pet project, while others worried that his association with Maggie might tarnish the company's elite image. One particularly tense meeting left Alex seething as he listened to executives dismiss the garage as a distraction. Enough, he snapped, slamming his hand on the conference table. This isn't a distraction, it's an investment. Not just financially, but personally. If any of you cared to visit the garage, you'd see the impact it's having. You'd understand why it's worth every second of my time. The room fell silent, stunned by his outburst. For years, Alex had played the role of the polished, detached CEO, rarely showing emotion or vulnerability. But now, he stood before them unapologetically passionate about something bigger than profit margins or stock prices. His declaration sent a clear message. This partnership wasn't going anywhere, no matter what anyone thought. Despite the external pressures, Alex and Maggie found solace in each other's company. Their shared experiences created a bond that transcended their differences, turning them into confidants and allies. They spent countless evenings brainstorming ideas, discussing strategies, and reflecting on their journey. Over time, Alex began to see Maggie not just as a distant relative or business partner, but as family in every sense of the word. One evening, as they sat together in the garage after hours, Alex broached a topic he'd been hesitant to discuss. Have you thought about telling Liam the full story? He asked gently. About our connection? Maggie hesitated, her gaze drifting toward the ring on her finger. I've thought about it, yeah. But I'm not sure how to explain it without overwhelming him. He's already dealing with so much. School, friends, everything. Adding this history into the mix feels like a lot. I get that, Alex replied. But at the same time, he deserves to know. This isn't just your story. Or mine, it's his too. Knowing where he comes from could give him strength, confidence, it might even inspire him. Maggie considered his words, weighing the potential risks and rewards. Finally, she nodded. You're right. It's time. I'll tell him soon. I just need to figure out how. A few days later, Maggie invited Liam to join her for dinner at the garage. With pizza boxes spread across a makeshift table and the hum of neon lights overhead, she took a deep breath and began. Liam, there's something I need to tell you. Something important. Liam looked up, curiosity etched across his face. What is it, Mom? It's about our family, Maggie explained. Remember how I told you Grandma used to talk about falling in love with someone rich and powerful? Well, it turns out that person was part of Alex's family, which means we're related to him. Distantly, anyway. Liam's eyes widened in disbelief. Wait, seriously? Like Billionaire related? Maggie laughed, nodding. Yes, seriously. And that ring I wear? It belonged to Alex's great-grandfather. It's been passed down through generations, connecting us in ways we never expected. For a moment, Liam sat silently, processing the information. Then a grin spread across his face. That's awesome. So does this mean I'm like royalty or something? Maggie chuckled, ruffling his hair. Not quite. But it does mean we come from a long line of strong, resilient people who followed their hearts even when it was hard. I wanted you to know because it's part of who you are. Liam beamed, pride shining in his eyes. Cool. Does this mean I get to hang out with Alex more? Maybe learn some cool billionaire stuff? Both Maggie and Alex burst into laughter, the tension melting away. We'll see, Alex teased, winking at the boy. But first you've got to finish fixing that bike tire you've been working on. As the laughter echoed through the garage, Maggie felt a profound sense of peace. Telling Liam the truth had been the right decision. It gave him a deeper understanding of his roots while reinforcing the values she held dear. And knowing that Alex was there to support them made the revelation feel less daunting. In the weeks that followed, their bond grew even stronger. Alex became a regular presence in Liam's life, teaching him not just about cars but also about perseverance, integrity, and leadership. Maggie watched with quiet joy as her son blossomed under his guidance, gaining confidence and ambition. Meanwhile, Alex discovered a newfound appreciation for the simple joys of life. Spending time with Maggie and Liam reminded him of the importance of connection and authenticity. Their journey was far from perfect, but it was real. Through challenges and triumphs, they had forged a partnership rooted in trust, respect, and shared purpose. The garage wasn't just a business anymore. It was a testament to the power of collaboration, a reminder that even the most unexpected alliances could lead to extraordinary outcomes. And as they stood side by side, watching the sun dip below, the horizon painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Maggie slipped her hand into Alex's. On her finger gleamed the ring, the symbol of their shared past and promising future. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, united by a bond stronger than blood. Years had passed since that rainy night when Alex Carter's broken-down sports car led him to Maggie Thompson's humble garage. What began as a simple repair job had spiraled into a journey of discovery, growth, and transformation for both of them. Now, standing side by side at the grand opening of their state-of-the-art auto repair chain, Maggie's Auto Academy, Alex couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. The event was bustling with energy. Local dignitaries, community leaders, students, and customers filled the newly renovated space, admiring the gleaming equipment, spacious classrooms, and vibrant murals painted by local artists. The garage had grown from a single location into a network of centers across the city, each dedicated to empowering aspiring mechanics and providing affordable services to underserved communities. Above it all hung a banner with bold letters, "Where passion meets purpose." As cameras flashed and applause echoed through the room, Maggie stood beside Alex, her hands clasped tightly in front of her. She wore a bright smile, though her eyes betrayed a hint of nervousness. Despite everything she'd accomplished, moments like these still made her feel out of place among the glitz and glamour. Yet as she glanced around at the faces of her students, staff, and supporters, her confidence returned. This wasn't about her. It was about them. "You did this," Alex whispered, leaning closer so only she could hear. "All of this is because of you." Maggie shook her head, her voice soft but firm. "No, Alex. It's because of us. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. None of this would have been possible without your support." Alex smiled, touched by her humility. Over the years, he had learned more from Maggie than he ever thought possible. Her resilience, kindness, and unwavering commitment to helping others had reshaped his perspective on success. He no longer measured his worth by profits or accolades. Instead, he found fulfillment in making a difference, and much of that change had stemmed from their partnership. Liam, now a teenager, stood nearby, beaming with pride. Dressed in a crisp uniform bearing the Academy's logo, he looked every bit the young professional in training. Since learning about his connection to Alex and the family legacy, Liam had embraced his roots with enthusiasm. He threw himself into his studies, excelling in both academics and hands-on training. Today he served as one of the student ambassadors, eagerly guiding visitors through the facility and sharing its story. "This place is amazing, Mom," Liam said, joining Maggie and Alex after finishing a tour with a group of reporters. "I can't wait to graduate and start working here full-time." Maggie wrapped an arm around his shoulders, pulling him close. "You've worked hard for this, kiddo. I'm so proud of you." "And don't forget," Alex added with a playful grin, "you'll have big shoes to fill. Your mom built this empire practically from scratch." Liam laughed, rolling his eyes, good-naturedly. Yeah, but maybe someday I'll build something even bigger." The three of them shared a laugh, their bond stronger than ever. For Maggie, seeing Alex and Liam interact brought immeasurable joy. Their relationship had evolved from mentorship to genuine friendship, bridging generations and backgrounds in ways she never imagined. It was proof that family wasn't defined by bloodlines alone. It was about love, trust, and shared values. The ceremony drew to a close. Alex took the stage to deliver a speech. The crowd quieted, eager to hear from the billionaire who had chosen to invest not in luxury hotels or tech startups, but in a mechanic's garage. Clutching the microphone, Alex scanned the audience, his gaze lingering on Maggie and Liam before beginning. "When I first walked into Maggie's garage years ago, I had no idea what lay ahead. My car was broken, my phone had no signal, and honestly, I felt lost. But meeting Maggie changed everything. She taught me lessons I couldn't learn in boardrooms or business schools. She showed me the power of hard work, humility, and compassion. And most importantly, she reminded me that success isn't measured by wealth, but by the lives we touch along the way." He paused, letting his words sink in before continuing. "This academy represents more than just a business. It's a testament to what happens when people come together with a shared vision. It's about giving opportunities to those who need them most, breaking down barriers, and proving that everyone deserves a fair shot at success. None of this would have been possible without Maggie's leadership, determination, and heart. So today, let's celebrate not just a building, but a movement driven by passion, purpose, and community." The crowd erupted into applause, cheering loudly as Alex stepped down from the podium. Maggie wiped away a tear, overwhelmed by his words. As Alex rejoined her, she slipped her hand into his, squeezing it gently. On her finger gleamed the ring, the same ring that had sparked their journey all those years ago. Later that evening, after the crowds had dispersed and the lights dimmed, Maggie and Alex lingered in the garage, savoring the quiet. Surrounded by tools, engines, and memories, they reflected on the path that had brought them here. "You know," Maggie said softly, "when I first saw you walk in that door, I thought you were just another rich guy looking for a quick fix. Never in a million years did I imagine we'd end up like this." Alex chuckled, shaking his head. "And I thought you were just a mechanic. Turns out you're so much more." They shared a smile, the weight of their journey settling comfortably between them. Through trials and triumphs, they had redefined what it meant to be family, not bound by DNA, but united by choice, respect, and shared dreams. As they locked up the garage and headed home under the starlit sky, Maggie turned to Alex with a mischievous grin. "So, what's next? Another garage? A worldwide chain?" Alex laughed, raising an eyebrow. "Let's take it one step at a time. Besides, I think we've earned a little break, don't you?" Maggie nodded, linking her arm with his. "Fair enough. But remember, one day I might hold you to that worldwide chain idea." Their laughter echoed through the night, carrying with it the promise of endless possibilities. Together, they had proven that life's greatest adventures often begin in the most unexpected places. A broken-down car, a rainy evening, and a single mother's determination to make a difference. From those humble beginnings, they had built something extraordinary, a legacy of hope, resilience, and unity. And as they walked side by side, the ring on Maggie's finger caught the moonlight, shimmering brightly, a timeless reminder of where they came from and the boundless future that lay ahead.